The Blair Witch Project started a trend. The new subgenre of films, those made with practically no money, a shaky camera, and the intention to cash in. This was rarely effective, and a surplus of bad found footage movies were born. So, what would it take to make a good found footage film? Well, $15,000, a tiny cast of mostly unknown actors, and a house in San Diego. If you haven't figured it out, we're getting our DV cameras ready and revisiting Paranormal Activity.
Nice hearing from you, Carlos.
Found footage, love it, hate it. Most people fall into one category or the other, and very few find themselves right in the middle. It's one of those subgenres that divides people and severely annoys others. The films in this subgenre have been around for quite a while and really started getting popular with the original Blair Witch Project in 1999. That film made waves and proved to be one of the most successful indie films of all time. A few more came and went, some sticking in the common consciousness longer than others, with few getting the franchise treatment like Spain's Wreck and today's film. Much like the Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity seemed to come out of left field, an unexpected surprise for its early audiences. The film was a hit and had been made for absolutely no money. It was made the best way to make a found footage film, basically in secret, with an absurdly low budget, a simple look, and a cast of folks we'd never seen before. The film used its leads' actual names for their characters, and it was marketed to show us as little as possible of what was actually happening in the film. And for some of us who saw it really early, there was no hype, no trailer, nothing. Just a, hey, come see this movie, it freaked me out, sort of invitation. This is a special film, and some are going to hate all the praise I'm going to lavish on the film. But that's okay, because my viewing experience was tailor-made for this one. On a random Thanksgiving, I was invited to come check out this new found footage film. To say I didn't really want to would be the understatement of the century. After years of bad at best found footage films, I didn't expect to ever see one that would work for me. But I'm one of the watch it once types when it comes to just about any film, so I accepted the invitation for found footage, wine, and pie. And so we watched, and damn, I really got into it, like really into it. While I was usually turned off from found footage due to its shaky cam, weird edits, random cuts, and bad acting by people who think that all you need to make a scary movie is a few people, found footage had always been that to me. Lazy filmmaking that led to boring stories and a migraine from low-quality footage, purposely damaged to give it the right style. I saw the Blair Witch Project in theaters with my mom in 1999 and hated it. Hated it! It sucked so bad. My first experience with found footage was not a good one. It was the kind of experience I never wanted to have again. I knew the world, loved it, and I could not figure out why. I wanted to get back to my good horror that scared me and that entertained me. The Blair Witch annoyed me. It was not for me, and it made me very weary of found footage films. Then the film really started. Yes, found footage, but shot in a more stable way from when they set up the camera in their bedroom. Thank goodness. One more thing to be thankful for. The film wasn't all for me from the start. It took me a bit, but it got my attention pretty quickly. Soon, I was into it. What was wrong with me? Was the wine and pie combo making me like found footage, or was this actually a good found footage movie? So, for those who don't know, Paranormal Activity is about a couple, Katie and Micah, who have just moved into a suburban home. Soon, weird happenings start. The logline for the film says it's a demonic presence. The film does bring in a demonologist, so it's meant to be a demonic presence early. As they're getting used to their new home, something is watching them, something is disturbing them. Soon, Michael wants to investigate, and he gets a Ouija board against Katie's wishes. She asked him to not buy a Ouija board, which he did follow, but he did borrow one and bring it into their home. And of course, that's just one small thing in everything going on. To some, Ouija boards are just toys, especially considering they were put on the market as such, but to others, it's something not to mess with. The film went on and the camera gets put up in their bedroom, aimed at their bed, and that's when things shifted for me. The tension grew, the creepiness grew, and something was off. Then Katie gets pulled out of the bed by her leg by an invisible force. And there's the moment that got me. That's when this became a scary movie. It became something more than grainy, low-light images on the screen, more than some hype machine. There was something here, and it was uncomfortable. It was scary? What? Me scared? Nah, that doesn't happen. But it did. The film started getting to me and making me jump. My friend was still watching my reactions and everyone else's with some sort of glee. That a-hole knew it was coming and he just waited to see our reactions. And he loved it so freaking much. The rest of the film got more reactions out of me, a sort of miracle at the time, and I was thankful for it. In terms of a more straightforward review, the film is solid. From information found online, the cast was not given a full script and given directions about the mood, the reactions expected from them, and what was needed for the scenes. This could easily lead to some trash in terms of films, especially with inexperienced actors and a director. The folks behind the film took some major risks and some big gambles, but here's the thing, it worked. And the film feels like a natural reaction to what is thrown at the cast here, especially Katie and Micah. Just a quick aside here, the film was made for an estimated budget of $15,000 USD. That's less than most people's cars cost. Hell, this is just a month's rent in some places in San Francisco. This is a low-cost film, like ridiculously low cost. And the love for the story, the cast, and the scares led it to a worldwide box office of over $193 million. $193 million! That is an impressive return on investment right there. Of course, there is more to this, but it gives an idea that I wasn't the only one to get the right kind of scares out of this, and that the gamble of having a green-lighted director making a film without a full script with a green cast was worth it. As someone who had hated found footage, loving this one was a surprise to say the least. Part of why I loved it is because of how it was made and the results they were able to get out of me. Low budget and decently shot thanks to a stable camera put in the bedroom for most of the film. It's supremely simple, yet it works. Also, seeing it pre-hype was probably a bit of the part of why I liked it. I didn't have any expectations for anything one way or another from the hype. I did have expectations to hate it because it is a found footage film and we don't get along. Thankfully, this one hit right. The cast is solid, the directing is great, the setup works. The scares are built up just right. And that setting in San Diego meant that when we went home, we had some similar aspects to our house. That damn trap door in the ceiling? I never trusted ours ever again after that. Hell, I damn near had a panic attack thinking of my wee little dog Cornelius having to sleep under that thing at night. That's some effective horror filmmaking. Still, was the wine that I consumed throughout the day and evening partly to blame for this? Yeah, probably. But I had my then husband get out of bed, get my dog, all 11 pounds of him, and bring him to bed to sleep next to me. I was scared and probably drunk from a freaking movie that I had just seen. I needed that little dude to be safe. 3 cats? Well, they were cats, so they could defend themselves. All this to say, I got scared and the film stuck with me. At the time, I wasn't happy about that. Now I'm thankful I got to have a horror film that actually scared me. Now back to that damn trap door. In the film, it's used quite well, and it leads to some tension, some scares, and a lot of wondering what was up there. Those steps in the ground, you know, the ones that are in the flower on the floor, the ones left by the demon? Rumor has it that they were using a Yoda doll, which looked oddly like the one I had as a kid. Here's something else about Paranormal Activity, something else I'm thankful for, that actually stuck with me. It wasn't a forgettable scare film like, say, The Nun 2, which is a perfectly serviceable way of making horror films, but when something sticks to you, it's so much better. Disturb me, scare me, stick with me, let my imagination run wild, and make it even scarier. This is what Paranormal Activity did for me. Something I don't think I had seen since seeing the original Candyman at winter camp, where me and my roommates had to sleep in a communal living room as the heat wasn't working in the room. Yeah, 12 years old, didn't sleep a wink. At 26 years old, Paranormal Activity was giving me that again. Something that as a horror fan was so rare, I don't think I had it happen between 1993 and 2007. Surprisingly enough, the same friend who made me watch this and watch my reactions ended up gifting me the next film that really messed with me in a whole new way. Martyrs. Which he handed to me saying, "Take this fucking thing out of my house." After I'd shown no interest in seeing it. In the end, some folks would be angry that a friend is putting films that scare them or disturb them in front of their eyes and scars them more than once, but as a horror fan who very rarely gets scared anymore due to desensitization probably, this is a gift. Something to be thankful for. So all I have to say is, thanks dude.